You know, it's funny that you said you're gonna be because when you talk about domestic or alien corporations, you know, when I taught class,
Is that PreSchoolers?
we should put it on.
I am, yeah.
That's what they always say.
Companies from a foreign country.
It's kind of funny because we had done all this prior to the number we had to figure out what I corporation was best. And I was going down the list and I was like, oh my God, there's alien corporation. And I was like, that's it. That ties in perfectly. My ex-boss.
Oh, I'm gonna go sit in the back. I wanna get some full immersion.
Wow.
Yeah, just the doors open up.
No,
No, but I'll help you stay open.
Yeah, there you go.
No, wait.
Wait, no, that needs to be open.
Wait, and then we go.
They don't open far enough.
My name is Mr. Piggy.
Yeah, probably should.
Okay, I think we'll go a little bit serious, but it's just so hard, so appetizing. Anyways, we are Team B, and we are a part of Microsoft. We are imposing, I don't know why I continue to do a voice. It's so dumb.
No, do it. We want to.
I know, but I don't think I'm good on
It's
that.
fun. Yeah.
We are imposing a theme park made of what else would Microsoft do? Video games. Oh yes, okay. So my name is Mr. Piggy. We have Unicorn, Mr. Tiger, Mr. Doggy, and
Oh, unicorn! Hi!
okay, we would just, like, this is a little too much for us anyways. All right, well, Mr. Piggy is gonna talk about sole proprietorship, also known as sole trade. Simply, this is the most simple form of business ownership. What would happen in a business ownership with a sole proprietor is they would be liable for all debts and losses. Do we want that, Microsoft? Does
No.
Bill Gates, does Bill Gates want this?
No.
This is Bill Gates, yes.
Hi. I've got too much money.
So, first we'll need to talk a little bit about what our possible business is, so that we can potentially look at what would be best suited for this business venture. We are looking at doing Micro World, also known as a theme park that is based upon video games, also known as Halo, Gears of War, Xbox General Games. I don't know what else there is. Right? You know, Halo's the best one. And so, a sole proprietorship would not work in this situation because, why do you think, board members, why don't you think a sole proprietorship wouldn't work? Well, we wouldn't be. Do you think Mr. Gates would want to take all the liability in case Soft World goes to...
Hell no.
It was Halo.
Oh, bueno.
If we had another Euro Disney occurrence. So, that's why a sole proprietorship would not work in this situation.
Don't take it my money.
This would work more in a small business orientation with a single owner, such as a restaurant, a small shop, or something of that fashion. So, we are going to move on to our next...
Sorry, love it.
Let's be a little more serious, please.
Nope.
This is our next... Who is our next...
Who's next?
And I have introduced Mr. Tiger.
Hello, I'm Mr. Tiger, and I'm going to talk about the I'm gonna talk about general partnership and limited partnership. As Mr. Piggy said, that we wanna stay here and make some money. Right, Mr. Gates?
You?
He wants to make some money. So we can get other show right there.
This is a board members meeting, okay? All piggies are invited.
General partnership consists of 2 or more partners who are both responsible for the business. The pros are liabilities and management responsibilities, and it's simple and inflexible. It is also less expensive to start. Cons are personality liability. The cons is a personally liable for the business debts and liabilities. That's just a little bit of the general partnership, and right now I'm going to talk about the limited partnership, and that consists of 1 or more general partners, also 1 or more limited partners. General partners participate in management and has 1% of the liability for partnerships. And right now, I'm lost for words because I need the backup of Mr. Piggy to bring it up and bring in Mr. Cow or dog.
Cow.
Gosh, you guys are no fun.
Or cow or dog.
Take it.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the limited liability partnership. The proposal of Microland is to go into business alongside of Six Flags to help us build a theme park. As partners, we would not be liable for the debts and other liabilities. We can write an ironclad, all-encompassing partnership agreement to avoid shareholders, directors, and officers. We can use private and commercial loans, so we're not financing everything ourselves. There's less tax liability for the business, unfortunately, maybe more for us as individuals. The LLP would be a good general partnership. And it would provide protection against personal liability. And it will also protect us against tort claims. Therefore, it was.
Scared him to move.
Get the
The
word.
only thing it wouldn't do is you kill them.
That's what we do to slackers.
Get your LLP.
The only thing it wouldn't save us from is personal negligence, which so far I'm seeing a lot of that.
Think about that.
Is Melissa?
No, it's me, then she wraps it up.
Okay, that's
I think you need to take it to the front with the full
I
on.
don't know, you can see me just fine.
I like it. You would like that.
Yeah. There we go, yeah. Put his hands on the thing, yeah. There we go.
Sure.
This is serious, quit screwing off over there. I love this stuff. Well, I'm here to talk about a limited liability company. That's close enough voice. Close enough. I'm not doing a speaking voice. Anyway, what is it? An LLC is an ongoing business venture between 2 or more principals with potentially favorable tax treatment and limited liability for its principals. There are some upsides and downsides to this. If you know. The advantages, well, there's tax options. Well, you can be as your tax options, you can be taxed as a sole proprietorship, partnership, or corporation. There is limited liability, which protects us and our shareholders from personal liability in event in case of judgments or debts against the business, which I like because you're not holding me responsible. I didn't become a multi-billionaire by giving away my money. I'd rather give away to shareholders. And there's some flexibility. We can be management structured however we like, depending upon Six Flags come to. However, though I am a unicorn, it is not all rainbows.
You thought of that.
Don't laugh at it. It's a serious briefing. The disadvantages can be additional taxes. There are some states like New York and California which will require you to pay a franchise or a capital value tax. And raising money could be a little bit harder. The unstable or the variable management style could shy away some shareholders. So I think that is the way to go anyway. But I would like to hear what the musician has to say.
AKA Mr. Draffy.
I like the idea of a corporation. A corporation is one or more principals that invest money in exchange for ownership. A corporation exists as an individual and can be sued or filed suit. In sole proprietorship and general partnership, the business and the owner are considered one legal entity, but in a corporation, the owners have a limited amount of legal liability for the corporation's business, activities, and debts. Because in the eyes of the law, the corporation is a separate entity. Board members may not always be immune from lawsuits if they are accused of financial or other corporate mismanagement. Corporations are classified into categories that reflect their purpose, capitalization, or how they're funded, location, and structure. Two of the main categories are privately held and publicly held. When a corporation is private, this means that it's owned exclusively by a group of private individuals. If it is public, this means that it sells ownership through public stock. Privately held sounds the best for us. Privately held corporations are very flexible in terms of their internal operating procedures and do not generally have to comply with strict corporate structures or formalities. Even though there are not many shareholders, it is not uncommon for privately held corporations to generate eight-figure revenues. Along with the benefit of having flexibility, most principals do not want to go public. There's also tax advantages for corporations. Corporations can have certain tax advantages over other forms of businesses. Corporations are less likely to be audited than sole proprietorships. A corporation may deduct 100% of the cost of health and life insurance premiums paid on behalf of owners and employees, but sole proprietors filing an individual return may currently deduct 60% of medical premiums. Corporate income is not subject to Social Security, workers' compensation, and Medicare taxes, and owners do not pay self-employment taxes. So what do you guys think we should do?
Where's the big dog? Get him out here. Get him out. Unicorn man, come out here.
Come here, unicorn man. What do you think, since you're the big boss around here?
Where's the doggy? Wait for the doggy.
Where's the cow dog?
Cow dog. Cow patty.
Cow-patted dog. Well,
So,
I still think we should do the LLC. And I will go with the vote of my board members. I am the biggest.
You're the biggest.
So,
we agree.
we agree.
Thanks.
Hello.
Thank you.
This has been a Team B production.
Yay.
Okay. I'm gonna have new names for everybody. Yeah. Mr. Piggy, Mr. Donkey.
It's a cow dog, I like that.
Good thing I picked.
It's a cog.
River cat dog?
Oh, yeah.
Cat dog.
I was thinking Spaceballs. Part man, part dog. He's a mog. His own best.